Reporting live on the South Side, I'm Vic Michelucci, Channel 4, the local station.
It was an investigation done during a previous administration, but thanks to errors that the city made, Duval County taxpayers will now have to pay millions to fix the mistakes.
Now, to avoid a lawsuit by the Department of Justice, the city has agreed to make hundreds of changes to several buildings that are not easily accessible for people with disabilities. For example, just one of the problems is A. Philip Randolph Boulevard downtown. That's where you will find the baseball grounds. The problem there? The federal government says the bathrooms do not meet requirements for people in wheelchairs.
And then just down the street from there, we go to Metropolitan Park. And there, the problem is the picnic tables, like these. They don't allow enough legroom for people with disabilities. That barely touches the surface, though. Channel 4's Emily Turner has been sorting through these necessary changes page by page and joins us now live from a third problem location, the Southside Tennis Park in San Marco. Emily?
Good evening, Mary. You know, that legroom you're talking about, it has to be 27 inches for it to be A.D.A. compliant. Well, for example, one of the violations, this table is only 26 inches. So, essentially, the big problem comes down to this, 1 inch. And I went through these. The vast majority of these violations are an inch or less, yet they're costing the taxpayer millions of dollars. Thanks to muscular dystrophy, simply getting from place to place is a hard enough job for Sharon Hoffmeyer. But losing a job because of that is even more difficult.
It's very frustrating. I've lost jobs because of non-compliant buildings in Riverside.
So it's for people like her that the Duval County taxpayer will be paying $37 million in changes to its public buildings. The changes include the Veterans Memorial Arena, City Hall, the library, Met Park, because they all violate the American with Disabilities Act somehow. And although A.D.A. coordinator Beth Meyer says the mistakes were mostly unintentional, they still have to be corrected. Why were they not originally built A.D.A. compliant?
Well, I think everything originally starts that way, and then through changes in specs and changes in building plans, or maybe just construction issues that come up.
For example, the elevators at the main library downtown are not A.D.A. compliant, and that's because these doors, from the moment that they open to the moment that they slide shut, are not open longer than 5 seconds. So that's not long enough for a wheelchair to get in. All these violations surfaced as a result of an investigation by the Department of Justice back in May of 2011. One it does on many cities. The changes are being made to avoid a lawsuit, but Meyer says they're necessary, especially in Jacksonville, where 1 in 7 people, she says, in the city is disabled. By our tally, it's a total of more than 1,400 different changes across the city. They will take 5 years to complete. But each change, Hoffmeyer says, is a step in the right direction, because while inches may not mean much to the general public, they make a huge difference to her.
Being able to access a building or just go about my everyday life without having to worry whether the wheelchair is going to fit through the door.
Now, each of these violations is assigned a timetable, but some of them have already been fixed, so those are going to be done before that 5-year time period. The Department of Justice says as long as they're done within those 5 years, the city is okay. Reporting live on the South Side, Emily Turner, Channel 4, the local station.
So, Emily, did the Justice Department investigate every city building in Jacksonville, or were some exempt?
There were some that were exempt. This A.D.A. regulation was passed in 1992, so it only applies to buildings that were built after that. A lot of buildings, like say some of the ones in Riverside that are more historic, because they were built before then, those are grandfathered in and they don't count. Mary?
All right.